What is going on, my dudes? This is Seth with Fantasy Football Dude Podcast. Welcome back to week 4 of our fantasy prop plays, player props, whatever you want to call it. Week 4, prop till you drop, as Trent calls this pod. We're kind of writing off some fun plays that we hit, at least with Trent and Jordan. I hit some of mine, but never really got that power play going. But I know Trent and Jordan hit some picks tonight. Jordan, how you feeling after tonight, man? Looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, I feel really good. Definitely the best Thursday night game I've had of the season. Feel like I kind of got most things right, to be honest. I didn't really I think the only thing I didn't have, like, as far as like DFS wise, my lineup didn't quite get to the top. That Brandon Aubrey missed field goal at the end really hurt me. I had a lineup with Brandon Aubrey captain, and I think would have shot up if he would have made that. But yeah, dude, I hit a 5 pick on Underdog, a 3 pick on Underdog, 2 pick on Sleeper with the college play, and then a 3 pick on Sleeper with the NFL game. So yeah, it was a really good week. Feels really good going in the weekend, on some type of momentum. So it's always nice, because it always sucks
Yeah,
to
that's
like feel
great,
like
man.
you're chasing, like you're chasing. I'm not chasing,
Yeah,
so
I
it's good.
think what did I get messed up on? I trusted Daniel Jones to run the ball, and it did not work out for some reason. I
Yeah.
just didn't run the ball.
Well, the
Yeah.
game was too close, right? He didn't, and the Cowboys. I don't know if this Cowboys defense is that good, but I don't know. Like, they're good, but I don't know if they're like what they used to be. I don't know if they're elite.
Yeah, I maybe I just got to ride some unders like Trent did. Trent was playing some unders this week, and they really all worked out. Like he took like a Brandon Cooks under, and I was like, man, I don't know how I feel about that. And he only ended up having one catch. He took the Daniel Jones under rushing. I took the over. I'm just like, and he took unders, and I think all of his unders plays hit, which was pretty interesting. So maybe I might start using those in the future, at least with like the decent sized multiplier ones. I'm not going to be doing the under touchdown for hardly any multiplier. I'm not going to be doing those. But on our prop plays for week 4, Underdog does a promo every week. They do a gimme pick, and this week it's Patrick Mahomes over 0.5 total yards. So if you guys want to tail our official prop play or our official pod play and add Patrick Mahomes to that, it's a free multiplier. It's the same multiplier he'd have for his normal total yards, but basically in a free pick. So that's just adding a free multiplier. We're going to be making probably making a 3-man for you guys. And that one's going to be able to be used if you want to add Patrick Mahomes.
Let's get into it. So my first official play of the week is CJ Stroud over 266.5 passing yards. He gets a pretty good matchup here against the Jaguars, man. I'm a Jaguars fan, and their defense is just absolutely atrocious. Josh Allen picked them apart last week. CJ Stroud, I know, did not have a good week last week, but I think that Vikings defense is probably better than what we think it is. I think this is like an elite bounce back spot here. So yeah, it's 262.5. I think it's about back to like it dropped. I actually got it because it dropped for a few minutes when Tank Dell was ruled out this week, and then it popped back up into that 265, 266.5 range. I haven't looked, but I think that's what it is now. So I really like this play. I think that it's a really good matchup. I think Stroud, this line's too low for him in this matchup. We saw what Josh Allen did. It's a really good bounce back spot for him, and it's at home. So in a dome against this bad Jaguars defense just feels too low to me, and I really like the over here. 266.5 right now. So I feel good about this one. I don't think Tank Dell being out hurts him too much either. I think they got guys like Robert Woods, Xavier Hutchinson, who can kind of step into that role for Tank Dell.
And it seems like Stephon Diggs is the preferred short guy and also like a pretty premium red zone target. But yeah, I really like this one, Jordan. You're right. I'm sorry your Jaguars defense is not good. And we're also seeing the Texans without their 1 and 2 running back. They're playing with Cam Akers, and Cam Akers also had a decent receiving game last week. So I think that also helps having Cam Akers back there with the passing yards for CJ Stroud. So I really like that play. I guess I'll get into my play here. So my first play this week is Jonathan Taylor at 11.5 receiving yards. So Jonathan Taylor we know he's kind of a do-it-all back. If you just look at his numbers, he has around, I think it's 250 rushing yards, like 3 total touchdowns, and he also has 3 catches for a combined of like I think 60 yards. So I want to say that the Pittsburgh is going to do pretty good at stopping him on the ground. So hopefully that means they're going to try to be getting him the ball in different ways, and that might mean a screen pass, and that could easily get him that 12 yards.
It's a really tough matchup for him. So I like the way to attack it with kind of the receiving yards.
Yeah, let's get into our third play you got here, Jordan. What's your second play this week?
Yeah, so I have Deontay Johnson over 5 receptions on Underdog. I just looked at Underdog, and that was so I got it with the higher multiplier. If you go on Underdog right now, at the time of recording, by the time you watch this, it could be back to 5.5. It could be back to 5.5. Right now, it's currently at 5, which is no added multiplier. Either way, you got to get 6 to win the prop. So, but 5 gives you some push equity, which is nice. But I really do expect a big game of Deontay Johnson here. This Cincinnati defense just got carved up by Jaden Daniels last week, by Terry McLaurin. And then so you got Andy Dalton resurrected this offense here.
Mm-hmm.
No Adam Thielen. I think that even has a bigger target share for Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson was great last week. He missed practice today, popped up on the injury report, but I saw that the Panthers expect him to play or to be back at practice tomorrow. So it sounds like a kind of a veteran's rest day for him, maintenance day. But yeah, I really like this prop. I'm fine with the 5.5. The 5.5. The 5's obviously good because it gives you some push equity, but I'm really good with, really perfectly fine with the 5.5. Really like this play tonight. Or for this weekend, probably my favorite play of the week, I think, for me. Just because I think Andy Dalton's going to throw the ball. And I think that Deontay Johnson is going to be his main target, especially with Thielen out.
And like you said, when you're attacking the reception prop, it's like, hey man, we don't really care about yards. We're just wanting him to touch the ball, and then that's a 1 yard screen, like a simple 3 yard slant. It's like, hey, we're gonna take that. And I think Deontay Johnson had I think eight catches last week, so I think this one's pretty attainable. I think it's even one that's like, hey, this could be a first half smash. My first receiver this week, I have Rashid Shaheed over 43.5. If I'm looking at his line right, I think it's at 45.5. I still like it. But at the time we had this, that was it. We know Rashid Shaheed as a big play kind of guy. Last week he had 5 targets, no catches. So he absolutely put up a dud egg last week. But the first 2 weeks he had 4 for 96 and a touchdown and 3 for 73 for a touchdown. So when this guy catches the ball, he makes big yards. And I think this yardage can easily happen in 1 or 2 plays, because I actually think this is going to be a pretty good game. I think they're going to take some shots. He gets thrown the ball.
I definitely agree. He's definitely a guy who can get there in one catch. And it's kind of always nice when you have that one catch equity a little bit. I don't know if that's an actual term. I don't know if I just made that up, but like you have that
Sounded
one
good.
catch, it's that one catch equity to kind of catch the prop in one throw. But I'll get to my last play. It's another receiver play. I got Terry McLaurin over 56.5 receiving yards. Just looked it up. It is currently at 57.5 receiving yards now as time of recording. I still like it there. I think I like it up to about 59.5. I don't know if I'd played in the 60s. Yeah, so Terry McLaurin this week. He's playing the Arizona Cardinals. They're not like bad against wide receivers, but they're not really good either. What I mostly like is this game's in a dome, 50.5 total, around 50 total. It's going to hover up and down, and then we saw how good Jaden Daniels looked last week. It seemed like he kind of finally came alive with his arm. Didn't rely on the run too much. Seems like the coaching staff is giving him a little more freedom with his arm. And he used Terry. Like Terry had two bombs, I think about 4 catches, 100 yards. I think it's going to be his go-to guy. He is his go-to guy. He's his best receiver by far, best pass catching target by far. And so I think this yard's too low. Like I think the yardage line is too low. And I think that we get 2 good weeks in a row from Terry. I know we had 2 bad weeks in a row, but I think we get 2 good weeks in a row. Doesn't mean he's going to go for 100 yards again, but I think he's going to get in that 60, 70, low 60. I think he's going to hit this prop, though. I really feel good about it. Again, I think it's more about Jaden Daniels maturing on a week-to-week basis as a quarterback, and the books not
He's
quite
getting
catching
better,
up
really.
to that. Yeah, he's getting better, and the books aren't accounting for that, right? So they can't account for the growth that he's going to show on a week-to-week basis. And this is not like some juggernaut defense here. This Arizona defense, I think,
No.
coming in the year, projected to be one of the worst in football. And they probably overachieved a little bit through the first 3 weeks.
Well,
So,
and they're staying afloat because their offense is kind of legit.
yes, right. They're good. They're I think they're better than what they're projected to be. I
Yeah,
necessarily
absolutely.
don't think their defense is necessarily better than what they're projected to be.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one a lot. I'm gonna get into my last pick here. It was also our graphic this week is Justin Jefferson at 78.5. I believe that's still the same line. It could be a little bit different now. Oh, it looks like it's at 79. So these last few weeks, Jefferson has had 14 catches, and I think he's a little bit over 200 yards with 3 touchdowns. So Jefferson obviously has been benefiting from Sam Darnold being his quarterback. And now keep in mind, this is also a rivalry game. You know, one of my favorite games to watch is always the Vikings versus the Packers. It's always a fun game. But Jefferson over his career has about 534 yards and 4 touchdowns versus the Packers. He did get blanked that 1 year by Jair Alexander. However, I think Jefferson has been playing hot recently, and he's going to stay that way. And I think 78.5 is not nearly enough. I did not see anything yet if Addison's playing or not. I do think that can take somewhat effect, but also he's coming off an injury, and I think Jefferson is going to be totally fine at this line. I think, honestly, I think a repeat of last week is incoming.
Probably personally, I think it's my favorite of your three is the JJ Yards play. I think that's a really good one. I mean the Green Bay defense is good, but also I think it's beatable, right?
Yeah, it's
Especially with how Sam
beatable.
Darnold's playing.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's playing good, Jefferson's playing good, but also if you want to win these games where it's going to be like this, Sam Darnold's going to need to take risk. And I think when the Vikings do beat the Packers in these sort of games, we've seen Kirk Cousins force feed Justin Jefferson the ball, even in tight windows and sometimes uncatchable things. And we've seen him just do well with it. So I think 78.5 might be a little tight, but I still think that's easily doable for Jefferson. So I was going to smash the over on that one. I think we can get into our official
So
prop play of
I
the
do
week.
have a couple leans. Like
No,
I
yeah,
want to
you're
keep
actually
giving
right.
the
Let's
leans
talk about some
out
other guys first.
just because I think it's good. Just because maybe you don't
Of
like the
course.
official ones, but you might like some of the leans. So
Yeah.
um, in that same game, I think that Jaden Reed over I have it at 48.5. I can look to see if it's still there, but I think that 48.5 just seems too low with Jordan Love back. Now, obviously, there's some risk with Love coming off injury, but I don't think he'd be playing if he wasn't healthy. And I think Jaden Reed hit this last week with Malik Willis. So
Yeah,
48
he
and a
did in
half.
one play.
Yeah. So I like the Jaden Reed over 48 and a half. Other receivers, I kind of like the DJ Moore over 56.5 receiving yards. That's what I have it down. It may have moved by now. I think this is a pretty good spot for that Chicago passing game. The Rams secondary is pretty atrocious. And then the other one the other wide receiver play I like is the Marvin Harrison Jr. I just looked 66.5. It's too low against this Commanders
Yeah,
secondary. Like
I totally
I
agree. It's kind
honestly
of
like that's
baffling,
probably
actually.
yeah. Like it's real low. And again, it's probably because he's a rookie. There's not a whole lot of data, right, to back it up. And in the first game, he went for 0. Second game for about 130. Third game, right about that 65 mark. So, I mean, it does make sense, but this Commanders defense is really, really bad. They got really destroyed by Jamar Chase. Has this kind of same role as Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside. So that one's like very close to an official play for me, but I gave it out last week, so I didn't want to give it out again. But that line's too low. I think you keep attacking the Marvin Harrison prop.
I will say about the Harrison one, I really like that one just because if you look at the last game, obviously they're playing from behind against Detroit, and he only had 5 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown, but he had 11 targets.
Yeah.
So,
They
like,
were targeting
even
him a bunch.
they were targeting him a bunch, so that's always helpful to see when targets are going up. Like, you see 3, 8, and 11. Like, obviously, they wanted him to get the ball, so they know they need to win this game. Also, they're playing the Commanders. They might be up a little bit, but, like, he should be receiving at least 8 targets every week. And if he's receiving 8 targets, he's probably gonna get to this yardage. I think if it was in the 70, I would start to back up a little bit,
Yeah,
but
I would too.
I think it's too low. And also too, guys,
I,
like there are dynamic or there are like if you want to mess with the lines on here, you can. So if you like Marvin Harrison, like we were talking about this week, but you like him in the 50s range, you can use that the range to go up and down. If you like him for more, put him up, you'll get a better multiplier. So you can do that with all of our picks here, but we usually just play off the general line with the general multiplier. I did add that, Jordan, to I did a 5 receiver play and I added Lamb and Neighbors from from
nice.
from tonight to some other receivers that I liked, and I think it'll be pretty nice if it hits.
Couple more. I got two more. The Brock Bowers over, I think it's 40.5 when I looked. I just think they go back to him a little bit. It's very close to an official play for me. I think Minshew kind of has something to prove. There's a lot of talk about him being benched this week. So Minshew something to prove, and I think he relies on Bowers. And Devontae Adams popped up on the injury report today with a hamstring. That's not good on a Thursday. So that could be an increased target share for Bowers, and that prop probably goes up quite a bit. So we'll see how that plays out. Last week, I had the Kyron over 21.5 receiving yards as an official play. It's down to 16.5 receiving yards. So,
Oh wow.
if you think, again, that Chicago defense is pretty good, and they are a lot lower, they're not underdogs by as much. It's probably why the prop went down. But it seems a little bit too low for how much they're going to get Kyron the ball.
He's that whole offense right now, and he's going to be getting the ball. Probably he's probably going to get close to 30 touches a game as long as their other weapons are out. One prop I do like before we give out our official pod play. I do like Dallas Goedert. He does not have any yards lines right now, just an anytime touchdown, but it is for a 1.54 multiplier on Underdog. He does not have a touchdown this year, but last week we saw him absolutely explode for 10 for 170. I think Dallas Goedert, if it's going to be hard, right? Because they will lean on Saquon to score in the red zone. But I do think he's going to be the premium passing target this week if AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are out. So I do like his anytime touchdown prop right now. But I'm not sure what the yards they'll be putting it at, but I would assume it would be on the lower side just because he's a tight end. I probably will like that when it comes out.
What would the line have to be on his yards? Like, what would you like if they set it at 52.5? Are you hitting that?
I think if it's at 60, I would say no, but I think if it's in the 40s and 50s range, I feel pretty comfortable about it.
Yeah, I think high 40s, low 50s. I think that'd be a good line to
Yeah, I
hit.
think that'd be a really good line. It's going to be interesting to see if that's even on there.
Yeah, let's get into our official pod play here. We have Seth's Justin Jefferson play over 78.5 receiving yards. We have my CJ Stroud play at. Do we know what we got that? Is there a graphic for that, Seth, or no?
I believe it's 262.
Okay, so 262.5. Pass. So we got Justin Jefferson at the 70. Justin Jefferson play at the 78.5. CJ Stroud over 262.5 passing yards. And then the Terry McLaurin over 56.5, 55.5, whatever you have it at. So we like the Justin Jefferson play at his receiving yards, the CJ Stroud over on his passing yards, where it's at currently, and the Terry McLaurin over on his receiving yards. So that is our official pod play. We're gonna do that for a full unit this week, and we're gonna go from there. And let's hope we have a really good week 4.
Yeah, guys. It seems like from what we've heard about Trent, this show's doing pretty good. So we want to keep improving for you guys. I think us going a little bit quicker sometimes in these episodes ends up being a little bit nicer, just so you guys can get our picks, but also hear our reasoning behind them. So, yeah, let's win some money on this official prop play.
Uh,
If you want to mix and match and also use some of our other stuff, I think that's fine too. Mixing and matching does up your chances of winning some money, but also it increases your chance of completely flopping. But like I said, take your favorite plays from us or follow our official prop play. But do whatever you think a unit is for you. And yeah, let's have some fun.
Seth, real quick before we leave, promo code dudes on Underdog for a deposit match up to $1,000. So go ahead and use our code if you haven't used Underdog before. And then go ahead before you guys leave, hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really helps us out. Hit the like button on this video before you leave. Really helps us out, guys, if you hit that like button for us.
Yeah, and let's send this to your friends too, and then we can all win some money. That'd be pretty cool. So thanks, guys. Take it easy.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing. This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.